Beginning with the Elector of Brandenburg, Frederick Wilhelm, Prussian aristocrats worked hard to develop a military culture. Their obsession with military strength came as a response to the devastation caused by the 30 Years' War. It had left almost half of all German men dead. By the time of his grandson, Frederick Wilhelm, the Soldier King, they'd achieved their goal. Prussia had developed a relatively small but highly efficient military instrument. In the 7 Years' War, under the Soldier King's son, Frederick the Great, Prussia was able to face down France, Russia, and Austria. Through a series of spectacular victories and defeats, they were able to survive and establish themselves as a major power in spite of their demographic weakness. The French philosopher Voltaire famously said, "Where some states have an army, the Prussian army has a state." Countries actively avoided fighting the Prussians, and their cast-off officers were eagerly snatched up by other powers to teach their men to soldier properly. Over a century came and went for the Prussians, with great successes and failures, but by 1870, Prussia was again the greatest power on continental Europe. In a series of brief wars against Denmark, Austria, and France, they were able to consolidate most of German Europe under Chancellor Otto von Bismarck and Kaiser Wilhelm I. A decade later, between 1879 and 1884, Chile managed to defeat Peru and Bolivia in the War of the Pacific. They expanded their control to the Atacama Desert, established themselves as the preeminent power on the western coast of South America, and left Bolivia landlocked. However, there were hard feelings over the loss, and the Chileans were also wary of Argentina. To prepare themselves for a possible follow-up war, they looked to Europe, and President Domingo Santa Maria decided that the Germans should shape their army. A military mission was carefully assembled and sent to Santiago under Captain Emil Korner. He assumed his duties with the rank of lieutenant colonel and was appointed subdirector of the military school. His first order of business was to establish a post-secondary military academy with up to 36 Prussian officers as instructors. The aim was to introduce a standardized and technically oriented military curriculum and to create a culture that encouraged initiative and intellectual openness. The best graduates would be candidates for appointment to the general staff, and another school was opened for the training of non-commissioned officers. Like most South American countries, Chile initially had a small army of long-service officers and soldiers. In 1900, Chile became the first country in South America to employ conscription. Training lasted between 5 and 18 months in local zones of divisional organization. This was done to ease logistics, save money, and create a sense of camaraderie among soldiers. They would be recruited together, train together, and fight together to strengthen their esprit de corps. Chile's armaments had originally been bought primarily from France and Belgium. These were replaced with their German counterparts. The Chilean uniforms and helmets were taken from the Germans in 1904, and they even adopted the goose step. Ammunition factories were established, along with small arms manufacturing plants. On January 1st, 1891, parliamentary leaders challenged Santa Maria's successor, Balmaceda. The army largely remained loyal to him, but the Germans were not. Balmaceda dismissed Horner, and he made his way north with dissenting officers to join congressional forces. A rift had formed between more conservative elements of the army and the smaller cadre of German-trained soldiers and officers. Within 6 months, Horner had raised and trained an army of about 10,000 officers and men, and this force had defeated the regular army. In 1910, at the age of 64, Horner retired as a general of the Chilean army. He'd arrived a quarter of a century earlier to replicate the Prussian army in America, and had left it the best equipped and trained army in Latin America. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, comment, and subscribe, and have a nice day.